Marco's here as well. Hello, Marco.
Never left.
Marco's cat is also here in the
Yeah, he's
background.
gonna be chilling here. There's now a bird feeder that I have that he can playfully
Oh,
watch
you got
birds.
that?
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's the way, man. That's what I've been doing.
That's a beautiful thing. Thank you for joining us. Whether you were watching live, whether you were watching or listening later, we appreciate you guys being here. Yesterday, of course, was the release of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. We had the chance, of course, to check it out. So we'll be talking about that a little bit because I thought about it. Like we always do like spoiler free and spoiler filled in the same video. I realized why do that? We can do a spoiler free conversation right here. And then if people want to hear the rest of our thoughts, go listen to the review we've got. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you guys some thoughts, spoiler free thoughts, of course. So you can rest assured you will not be spoiled if you are going into this movie essentially blind. I mean, obviously, like like all you have to have seen is one trailer. If you've seen one trailer, you will be able to listen to our spoiler free thoughts. And then unfortunately, in our main topic, we're gonna talk about and remember Kevin Conroy, who unfortunately passed this week. So we've got a lot of show for you guys. We've got a lot of stuff to dive into. Tyler brought up before the show Marvel Snap.
You brought it up. I went.
Oh,
with it.
all right. Okay, I guess I did. You brought up God of War. Fine, fair enough. Anybody else playing? I feel like it's really really fun. It's a great game.
is it easy enough to get into?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
is it intuitive?
I think it is.
I
Yeah.
say it's low skill cap, high skill ceiling. Does that make sense, Sean?
Yep. Absolutely. It's what that means is easy to learn, tough to master.
Right. Okay.
And I definitely think that suits Marvel Snap. It's the kind of game where it handholds you just enough at the start to familiarize you with the systems, and then it's all go from there. And it eases you in. Like the first wave of cards you have are pretty straightforward and simple. And then things get a little bit more complicated as you go. And you're playing against people who also don't know how to play in the beginning. So you're not necessarily feeling so bad when you lose, if you lose.
Yeah.
By the time you start playing against people who have their shit together, you should too.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And they also throw some bots in there for you to
Yep.
kind of trick you into thinking you're doing well.
I think like the first like day I played against, a few bots. And they're there for you to beat.
Yeah.
But I think that helped me for sure. It's a good game.
All right. I'm gonna check it out. It would be my first card game, so I'm interested.
Really?
Ooh.
I've
What are you
never
more of a
played a card
dominoes
game.
type?
I played dominoes. Yeah.
I think I profiled you there.
You're not wrong. I mean,
Well,
Yeah, that felt racial, I have to say. That did
well,
feel racial.
you know what? It was. Well, that's like a good stereotype, one that I understand
he
personally.
doesn't look like he plays Yugi Man cards.
Wow. I think you just triggered me.
I have a funny Yu-Gi-Oh story actually.
All right, let's hear it real quick.
So when I was a kid, me and my cousin used to be really into Yu-Gi-Oh cards. He at one point stole a couple of my cards. My aunt found out, and the way she punished him was by giving me all of his Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and he wasn't allowed to play anymore. So that shot off my trajectory, and he found a guitar. And now he's a musician, and he like tours in different countries and stuff. So like, and now
shit.
I'm on a comic book podcast. So that really, I think that was a fork in the road. That moment, I think.
Really changed the trajectory of his
It did.
entire life
Yeah.
there.
So I ask him to thank me anytime. I bring it up to him. Like you should be thanking me.
When he
You
wins
could
the
have become
Grammy.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see.
In the speech there is like, and you know what? Thank you to Tyler. If it wasn't for
And
you,
Dude
Dude
stole
I
my
would have
mirror
never
force.
became this.
Dude stole my mirror force. That's beyond fucked.
Oh, that's rough, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a story, but this is just not the right forum for it. But I oh my god, I've been playing card games for 30 years or 20 years, 20
Dang.
plus years. Yeah.
But
Never.
bringing it back to Marvel Snap, the art in it is so good because they get
Yep.
like actual comic book art as the cards, and you can get variants, and even the monetization of it isn't really predatory. It doesn't feel to me.
Nah. It's cool.
It's more for just card skins, really.
Do you like pay for packs and stuff?
Nope.
No,
Oh.
which is weird for a card game, honestly.
How do you earn more cards? You just win?
Playing.
Playing?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. But like I saw like a Chris Somney Captain America card.
Scotty Young. A lot of
yeah.
Scotty Young.
Oh,
I have
all
the
right.
Baby Punisher one, which is
Oh,
fun.
sick.
I don't really play him that much though. What did I see that was really good? Oh, I have the Greg Land Domino card. Love that card.
I haven't. Have I? Oh, is that the initial domino you unlock?
No, it's a variant to it, but
Okay.
it got the porno face, you know.
All right.
It's Greg Land. That's how it is.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
I always wonder
see.
what
Okay.
kind of porno Greg Land traced to do the thing.
Has he ever like addressed that publicly or?
No, only pubically.
Oh, all right.
That was a Marco joke. Yeah, see, there we go.
Let's jump into our initial Black Panther thoughts. So this is again completely spoiler free. We're not going to spoil anything for you. But just a little, what's that, Tyler?
What?
The face.
Oh, I accidentally left a slide for Quantum Mania in here, and it confused me. I was like, I thought I got rid of that. That's all. I confused myself. That's fine.
So this is a very I think it's a very complex movie.
Yeah.
My feelings on it are complex, and I think if you listen to our review, which if you're watching this live will be out on Monday, if you're listening to this at any other time, it's out now. So I have a lot of intricate thoughts about it, but I do want to say that what you're going into this movie expecting is right in the sense that it's a very emotional movie. You know, there's a lot of emotional resonance for, you know, the passing of Chadwick Boseman. I don't think that the movie belabors that to the point of like making it impossible to enjoy. I think there was a way that could have gone where it stops being a movie, and that didn't happen. What it did do for me was it added depth and weight, which made the actual story of the film that much more impactful. And I really have to commend the creative team, Ryan Coogler, and the actors and everybody for really doing such an amazing job in the face of, you know, an awful situation. I think that the movie's not perfect. The last major action set piece I had problems with, but pretty much other than that, everything it tries to do works. And it feels like a stark contrast for me between this and the rest of Phase 4, which, other than Spider-Man, I have not really liked very much. This is the crowning jewel of Phase 4, and I think yet another hit for Marvel that harkens back to the time in Marvel where I thought they just couldn't lose. I really enjoyed this movie. But as I said, my feelings are complicated, so we'll talk more about that on my end when we do the full review. And you guys can listen to that on Monday.
I'll just throw out my Letterbox review on here. If you guys don't know, Letterbox is an app where film guy TM can post his review on any movie he wants. I wrote what did I write here? Great performances by the majority of the cast that gets hampered down by the lead. But hey, they made Namor's ankle wings cool.
Namor.
Yeah, so I thought I gave it like a 3.5 is kind of what I gave it there.
Really? Oh, okay.
Out of
5.
Out of 5. Yeah.
So
So 7 on a 10 scale, if you want to extrapolate from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to argue with you. No, not argue, but I'm dying to hear what happened for it to earn
A 7.
a 7.
Yeah, same.
That's shocking.
Are you shocked at how high or low?
How low?
Well, 7 is pretty high. All right, we'll
No,
talk
it's
about
not.
that.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
this is what you guys can look forward to for our Black
Yeah.
Panther review. Yeah.
You can look forward to me badgering Tyler.
Hey, some people look forward to that.
Spoiler free. I first and foremost had a lot of fun with it. I think that's a takeaway, is that it was a blast of a movie. There were not any sequences where I felt like I wasn't engrossed. I don't think it was perfect. I think there are definitely things from a visual standpoint that we'll probably talk about, but the narrative, the way that they position this, I guess, Telecon and Namor and his goal, I think was done very, very well. The characters were all phenomenal. I think the cast does a great job, and they get really good lines as well. So I'm glad that they were able to execute that and make it feel like it had weight. And that's something that I think I haven't felt in the past few movies. Like, these things have consequences, and this did. So I'm grateful for that. But we'll dig into more of that, later, like the specifics of it. But out the gate, real good film.
I mean,
Marco was having a blast. Marco was having a blast in the theater while I was crying my eyes out.
Yo, there were good moments, man. They were like,
No, there were. Yeah.
I mean, I got 2 words to sell you on this movie, and those words are Angela Bassett. So
Yeah.
I think she.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think she kills it. She's
She
killing it like
absolutely
Musk is killing Twitter. Sorry, I just saw a thumbnail on that.
hey, don't degrade my man.
Oh
Speaking-
no! Don't tell me don't. No, Marco, you're not.
It's another podcast.
Oh boy! All right, that's palling around.
Speaking of Twitter, I wanted to make an announcement. In light of new ownership at Twitter, and in light of a new subscription model at Twitter, I would like to announce. The other two don't know this. I would like to announce publicly, formally, that the Comics Pals now have a blue check.
Yeah,
no way. Really?
Go look.
Bullshit.
Man, you paid you. All right.
He's gonna make me look. Hold on.
Go look. Yeah, absolutely.
You lied.
You son of a bitch.
Oh, all right. Well, sorry. No, we do not have a blue check, but we should get one, right? Like, wouldn't it be cool for the Comics Pals to be verified with under 1,000 followers? Wouldn't that be great?
It's fake verified though. It ain't real.
It's like buying followers at that point, right? And who would do something like that?
Scummy people.
No idea.
That's right.
Oh, whoops. Hold on. Let me put that away.
Oh man. So if you are looking forward to our full review of Black Panther and you want to make sure that you catch that, then you are going to want to follow us on social media. Follow the Comics Pals. We don't have a blue check, so that might mean that you have to scroll down a little bit to find us, since Elon Musk has decided that if you don't pay, you don't matter.
Don't win.
There you go. Yeah, pay to win.
That's why we're going back to. I'm gonna make the Comics Pals Tumblr. That's what I'll do.
Let's get it.
They brought it back.
They brought nudes back.
The important stuff,
You can follow the Comics Pals on Tumblr for all the biggest comic book news and nudes.
That's good marketing though, huh?
Yeah.
And don't be surprised if you go on there and you see feet. Tyler's just going through something.
It's not a thing. It's not. I'm into women who play the accordion, apparently.
In sandals.
Open toe. Yeah.
Didn't have that addendum. No addendum there.
Oh man.
Although when I was at Disneyland and I went on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, I did look up once, and then there's the pirate hanging with his feet there, and I was like, "That's gross." It ruined it for me. So The bit cannot become real. It's killed.
It ruined it for you because you weren't in the proper environment to enjoy that yourself.
No, they told me I couldn't stand up in the boat to get a little whiff. Sir, stop trying to smell the animatronics' feet.
Watch this show live
Smell
on.
incisors were working.
God, you're a nut. On Twitch and YouTube, Saturdays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. Watch Pals Pulls live on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. Come hang out with us for that. Marco, you were tagged with New Avengers. You don't have to like give your review. I'm just curious. Did you tag me again?
No,
No, I did not. I did not.
Okay.
No.
I got tagged with the manga.
Yeah,
Sorry about your damn luck, buddy.
it's a good book.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm okay with being a weeb for a week.
You're a low-key weeb.
Hey,
Under the radar.
You want to be a weeb.
I would not actually. No, I have enough things going against me. I don't need to add another thing.
You like statues already, man. It's you have the space.
They're called action figures. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, like that actually frustrated me, Marco. Statues,
I do have one
Yeah.
right behind me over there.
but they're not statues. They move.
Well, no, this one's a Vol'jin statue from Warcraft. So
Okay, you have one statue. Marco
Yeah, I
was
have a
talking about your
Ragnarok.
toy collection.
I thought you had
Ragnarok
more.
statue,
No.
yeah. Just Warcraft ones apparently. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I
They're
rescind
just a
my comment.
statuesque physique, you know. If the
Join our
statue
Discord
is
server.
a lard lad from Simpsons.
Unreal. Come join our Discord server. There's a link to it in the description of anything we do. So come hang out with us. It's always fun.
How's the movie chat? I've not checked in on Discord so I could avoid spoilers or any kind of conversation around it.
Well, I think the biggest question mark on everybody's mind was what will Matt Murphy think of the movie?
Okay.
Oh, did he talk about it? I went with him.
And I don't know if it was in Discord or Twitter, but I just remember a GIF that just said perfect.
He gave it.
And I
He gave
think
it a
he
9.
gave it a 9. So that's actually not perfect.
Wow.
But
which is a red flag for anyone who watches film. If it's a good movie on the Murphy scale, careful.
yo,
Careful with that. Probably ain't
that's
good.
messed up.
This dude
Hey,
added
good-
Piranha 3D to his top 4 movies of all time.
Good morning to Dan Trudeau, and good morning to Nerds Will Save the World. That's a new face. Welcome. Thank you for watching.
Morning.
Tyler, speaking of Disney, why don't you give us a little bit of your trip? How was it?
Oh yeah, it was
Regale.
fun. I had a lot of snacks, a little snacky poos all the time. A lot of. I don't have a sweet tooth, so like I was trying to like do the thing where like, oh, you get a churro every time you see a churro cart or something, and I didn't do that. I could barely eat one of those churros; they're just too sweet. The rides were fun. I went to Avengers Campus, which was
Nice.
sick. So I went there last Thursday night. It was like right before close. We figured we'd check it out. And I went, and like as I'm walking, I just see Spider-Man walking around. I was like, "Yo, hey, Spidey!" And he just like
Sick.
high fives me. I saw Loki with like the full-on crown helmet, and I was like, "Hey, Loki, can we take a picture?" And he says, "Sure," but he just keeps walking. So I had to like try and take a picture while he's walking, and we just both looked like cryptids there. The campus is really cool. It feels like lived in. It needs one more ride though, in my opinion. But like I went to the Pim's Test Kitchen, which was like a Ant-Man themed restaurant, and I got this chicken sandwich where the bun is super tiny, but the chicken is super huge.
That's funny.
That was honestly pretty damn good. What else did I? They had some honey themed cocktails there. I had a beer cocktail while I was there, so I was getting a little salty on the trip there. What else? There's who did I see? I saw there's like a Dora Milaje kind of thing where they teach people how to do like some kind of like warrior shit. I saw both caps, which was cool.
Hey,
Nice.
And I tried. I drunkenly decided, let me try doing the last ride of the trip. So I just went to the Star Wars bar, drank 2 drinks there, got another drink when I walked over to California Adventure, And then I was like, all right, let's go to Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, which is a fantastic ride. And I'm scared of that kind of shit. I don't like drop rides.
Oh,
That feeling you get in your stomach when you fall down, I
Yeah.
hate that shit. But Guardians of the Galaxy is fucking great. But I said, all right, let's see how strong my stomach is. I haven't thrown up in
Drunk?
12 years. So I was like, all right, I'm drunk. I'm going to go on that ride. But you know what I'm going to do beforehand? I'm going to down a chili cheese dog.
Oh,
Um,
Tyler.
so I went
Did you throw up?
I went to Award Wieners. Got it's called Award Wieners. It's like in a Hollywood section. It's full of hot dogs.
Okay.
Got a chili cheese dog. Honestly, that's a damn good chili cheese dog. Ate that and then instantly went on the ride. You know what? Fine. I was fine afterwards.
Oh, okay.
No,
Good job.
I think
Well
my
done.
I just think I have a strong stomach in that
you took
regard.
me on a ride.
It's a really cool ride. We had Jackson 5's "I Want You Back" playing during it because there's like 5 or 6 different songs that you'll randomly get for the ride. Yeah, man, it was
tune.
cool. Fun trip. It was a fun trip.
Did you get on the Cosmic Rewind?
That's in
think
Florida.
that's-
That's
Oh.
the one at Epcot that I am maybe checking out next year. I'm waiting for the Tron ride to open up, so I have something to do that's new in each park.
Dude, I'm trying to go next year, man.
Let
For
me
real.
know. Let me know. I also know that Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser thing they have going on is like not selling right now in Florida, so they're like letting press go. So I'm gonna
Ooh.
There you go.
see
There you
what I
go.
can do there.
Okay.
I would like to talk about that. But yeah, it was
Yes,
fun.
indeed.
It was cool being in California. I'm still a little jet lagged. I screwed up. I screwed up my back on the Matterhorn, and I haven't been able to feel my left thigh since Saturday. About a week now. It's just
Tyler,
numb.
it's concerning.
Yeah, I'm a 30-year-old guy. You think I'm gonna go to a doctor? No.
One would hope.
Dude, I'm
I'll
getting
give it another
glasses.
week. I'll give it another week.
Sean is defeated.
It was a
am.
fun trip though. It was nice being over there. I had In-N-Out Burger too, which is like the tourist.
Overhyped, in my opinion.
It's so
I
good.
agree. honestly.
Like
you
it's
guys are
good.
tweaking.
Like
It's
no,
nicely
it's good.
priced. I will give it. It's nicely priced for what it is. You're getting good quality for what.
Yeah,
you
fair,
pay
fair.
For. But a Five Guys burger is better in my opinion. You could do more for it. I prefer Five Guys.
Listen, Tyler, you
getting
want
in
to
and
talk
out.
about you and Five Guys? You could do that on Palling Around. Okay, that's the kind of content that people pay for on Patreon. Patreon.com/thecomicspals, where for as little as $3 a month, you can support your boys and get access to some pretty cool content, like our Patreon exclusive show, Palling Around, where we talk about things like this. But
Diatribes.
yeah, exactly. And if you wanted, you could get yourself a snazzy superhero or supervillain nickname read on the show. So I want to say thank you to Thunderstruck, Rebecca Alejandro, the Night Stalker, Harris Najinsky, Brian Demolisher Del Pozo, Random Rocio, Kefis, the Incorruptible, the Great Destroyer, Hyper Viper 89, Momentum, Mike Elliott, Starcross, Catherine Stars, and the Ultimate Fighter, Snake of Talons. Thank you so much to those fine people. And Tyler, why don't you stop talking about Five Guys and read the comments from our pals over on Discord?
Some nice guys instead.
Yeah.
All right. So sorry, I opened up the movie chat. I want to see what was going on there. All right. Let's talk about our Discord questions. So we had one from Aaron, who said a question that popped into my head. How do you guys give a book a second chance? Often the phrase "keep going, it gets better" is always being thrown out whenever we speak about a book we didn't like. I thought that was an LGBTQ campaign slogan. Never mind. To me, it seems hard for people to keep going to a story that they are not invested in and just hoping for something the second book can give to hold on to. So essentially, like, how does Marco read Volume 2 of New Avengers? This is what it's really being asked here.
How does one convince me?
You're the first person I've ever met that I know read it and didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
And I'm not like outright hating on the book. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. That's totally cool. It's just I've just before.
Yeah. To answer the question, to give a book a second chance, it's hard. I think usually someone will have to come back to me and be like, "Hey, I think you should commit to it. I think after, X issue, or this was the first introductory arc and the second arc was a little bit better." I think you hear that a lot more in like manga or something, which has already like an inherently long form thought process built in. But for comics, you have a committed arc every 5 to 6 issues, whatever it might be. And someone has to tell me, I think it's worth your time. Otherwise, I probably won't do it by myself of my own volition, because I would have given it the chance. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember reading the first issue. I will try to give it at minimum 3 issues. If I read the first and I'm like, this was enough to hold me over, if I remember the book, I'll come back to it because I like the first issue enough. It just wasn't compelling enough for me to pick up week over week, but it was probably going to be a good story, a solid story. Hell to Pay is a good example of that. When we did the review, Sean, of like, you know what,
Yeah.
this wasn't bad. This was not, amazing, but would I come back to it? Maybe. I'll look at it in a trade in that case. So there's a few, I guess there's a few parameters that you have to get hit, but I'm always down to give a book a second chance. Always. And I think it helps you contextualize either older comics or newer comics, or just different comics in general, because you're being introduced to a new framework for how it might work. So yeah.
I'm actually pretty cutthroat when it comes to that. I've racked my brain on this, and I actually can't think of a time where I didn't like a book, a comic, and I went back to it, and then I was like, wow, I was wrong about this. If I don't like it in the first issue or two, probably never gonna try it again.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's almost nothing that anyone could say that would convince me that I was wrong.
Dang.
Yeah, because
I'm
like I just feel like for myself in the first issue, I'm seeing what I need to see. If the premise isn't right, if the dialogue just trips me up in a way that's like, I don't like this, then I kind of know what I'm going to be experiencing, right? Or I feel like I know what I'm going to be experiencing. I really can't think of a book that, the first couple of issues just weren't good, or I didn't like them. And then I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It just really has never happened.
I'm kind of with you on that, Sean. I don't. What's that George Bush quote?
Fool me once.
Fool me once.
Shame on me.
Fool me
Fool me
twice. Can't be fooled again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't typically go back to stuff. And this is just outside of comics too. Like if you burn me good enough, I'm out. Like
Sure.
good enough. Like good riddance. I don't. I think the only thing that could get me really like to go back and read something that I previously did not care for is if I read more by that writer or that artist, and I want to just like, and I like the newer stuff. I want to like recontextualize things. Or if the Patreon people vote for it,
Sure.
that'll do it too. Money will make me read things that I haven't previously liked. But yeah,
Dan Trudeau makes a good point too in the chat. The price of individual issues is high, and
Yeah.
it's difficult to say, hey, I'm gonna, like, Marco made a great example, Hell to Pay. We reviewed that on the show a couple of weeks ago on Pals Pools, and it was good. Like there was nothing wrong with it. It was fine, but it didn't like hook me to the point where I was like, oh my God, I need this next issue.
Right.
So it's not to say that I had a bad time with it, but it is to say, do I have the capacity to say next time I see it on the stands, I'm going to spend $4 on this to give it a chance to wow me. It's a tough choice sometimes. And I'm never going to consider that for something where the first issue was just like, what? I don't care about this,
And it's an image book, so like the first trade is gonna be $10.
Mhm.
I'd rather invest in that at that point if the first issue did a good enough job, or
Right.
did a not mediocre enough, but just did a job.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Next one, Sean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Manny said, "Are there runs you felt that had events that would have been better for the run to just the single series or have a companion series to help pacing? Devil's Reign, in my opinion, would have been better as just a continuation of Zdarsky's run. Really didn't feel the need for it to be an event. For me, I don't think events are really a story reason. I would say most events, especially if they tie into another book that it spins out of, could probably just be fine being it. Like Devil's Reign could have just been the next issue of Daredevil, honestly.
Like an arc within Daredevil.
Yeah, or like an event arc within Daredevil. That's what they used to be. Like
Sure.
I'm thinking of like what is it? Kang Dynasty. That was like an Avengers arc. You know, we in retrospect we view it as like an event. You know, sort of, or like the Kree Skrull War. That was just an arc. Even though it's viewed as one of the first events. I think it's more of an editorial mandate just to get sales going.
Sure.
And I feel like that's what events are currently. They're just like, hey, let's kick up sales for a bit. Is there one that I think besides Devil's Reign that kind of fits that mold? Battle for the Cow, maybe. I feel like that could have just been in a continuation of Batman, honestly.
Well, his question is that would have been better if it were not spun out.
Like would have functioned better if it had been contained in the storyline.
That's a tough one.
Oh, I gotta go in.
Is it Swamp Thing?
No, it's Marvel Presents Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, Judgment Day. That should have stayed in the fucking books, all right?
Should have stayed in Eternals, which isn't even
Should
being
have
published
stayed
currently.
in fucking Eternals.
Oh
I'd
my
leave that shit
God.
there.
That's so funny.
Final
I have one
answer.
too, but yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Empire might have been better as if it was just
Yeah, sure.
a continuation of Guardians. I think that was Ewing's Guardians run at the time, which kind of derailed that. I don't know if it would have been better, but I just prefer it not derailing the book that I was liking. You know.
Yeah. I honestly don't. I don't know. I think this is this kind of question. Like, why would Devil's Reign have been better? You know what I'm saying? Like, what about it would have been better if it were in Daredevil that they couldn't do as an event? I think that Devil's Reign was phenomenal. I don't see how it would have been objectively better if it were taking place in Daredevil than spun out. And I actually feel like this is one of those things that because people don't like events, they say this, but I don't think it matters. Devil's Reign was an organic story that came from what Chip Zdarsky was doing within the pages of Daredevil. But I don't think that means that it has to happen in Daredevil in order for it to be good. I don't think that they lost any level of quality. I think maybe you could make the argument that if you didn't read Daredevil, maybe it's a little harder to get into. But that would have been the case if it only took place in Daredevil. Marvel would have promoted it as an event, whether it was spun out or not. It would have been an event within Daredevil, like Tyler said. So either way, it's an event. And either way, it's going to have the trappings of an event. And either way, it's going to try to bring in new readers because they want you to read the event. So I really don't think that it would have mattered either way. And I don't typically think that it does. Hey, Civil War, that could have been an arc in New Avengers, an argument, but why do it? Why not? Why not sell more issues of a comic book? You know, because it definitely sold more because it wasn't a Daredevil book. Sure. Because when you see Daredevil number 36, Devil's Reign number 1, you're like, wait, what the heck? But if you just have that nice, clean Devil's Reign number 1, people are willing to pick it up off the merits of that alone. I don't think it's a smart decision not to do that, to be honest. I think there are instances where you can get away with it and it's fine. But I think if you have the opportunity to spin something out and make extra money, from a financial sense, it makes sense. And I think from a reader experience, because you might not want to go back and read 35 issues of Daredevil to just be able to buy this one issue of Devil's Reign or this run of Devil's Reign.
I think it's a good point. In particular, the like trying to get people in the door as comic book readers, that just makes sense. And if you're gonna want to split that out, you should. I think the argument I would say for keeping it within a storyline is to have crossover within that. Like AXE was supposed to be a larger event than it was made out to be in my mind, and because of that, the stakes felt like they could have been contained to the book. It would have felt better because it would have felt like the stakes were contained to the storyline that we've been progressing, not the lives of the Avengers as well, because that brings into it its own considerations from like a power set perspective, or the X-Men and how this plays into larger story plots, and then you have to play with those characters. Whereas I think if we had gotten just the Eternals focused even on the population, the kids and the citizens that we were complaining about, we weren't getting enough story to be able to give context to like why they're there as tools. I think it leaves opportunity to breathe for certain story beats. I think your point is valid that it makes sense to make it into its own event and book and series in order to promote the sales and like its awareness overall. But I think from a content perspective, there could be an argument for it helps to consolidate whether or not the story requires such a large environment. And in this scenario, I don't think it benefited from having to deal with this existential threat plus all these other teams as much as it could have been contained to the end of their arc in Eternals.
Wait, so you think that if AXC Judgment Day was contained to Eternals, that they wouldn't have done the progenitor story? Because that's the event. That's the literal event.
That's the event. I don't think they needed the Avengers, and I don't think they needed the X-Men there. I think it could have been, the story could have been contained within the run of Eternals, and we would have gotten probably a better, more intimate story out of that.
But you can't make the progenitor without Iron Man.
I think it might have been a different story then.
And they were building up to that conflict in Eternals for the whole run. Like, remember when because the Avengers live in the body of a celestial, like that's the whole story.
Right. But remember we had a conversation like this feels like flat as a thing to launch AXE. Like this doesn't feel worthy enough to launch an event or a conflict.
Because it was shit.
That's what I'm saying.
If it was but see this, okay, right. I'm glad you said this. So if it was better, right, you wouldn't feel that way. So it comes down to a quality issue, not a should this be an event or not issue. Because in order for that story to function,
I see what you're saying.
Those things have to happen. It'd be a different story if they didn't. So if we didn't like it, that's the problem.
I have two questions.
Yeah.
Marco, you say the book didn't need the Avengers and didn't need the X-Men. Do you also think it didn't need sales? Because that's why they're there. They're not there for the story. That's separate.
But I think the story needs to be in consideration, and if they're not needed from that standpoint, like I think could have. I think there was a way to have written it better. But your point is salient, John. Yeah, you make a good point.
The other question is, if the Avengers live in that Eternal, you think the bathroom is in like the butt?
I mean, that easier way down. That makes sense.
What's in the crotch?
Nothing, dude. He's a progenitor.
Well, they live in it. There's like, is the gym there? You know,
Onlyfans.com/the progenitor to find out.
I wonder if that's an account. I'll look it up.
Don't look that up. Jesus. So we talked about. Oh, thank you, by the way, for the questions and comments. I noticed that since we've gone live, you guys have been writing in less. I wonder why that is.
Since what?
Since we've been live on YouTube.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. We talked about Wakanda Forever earlier. We gave our spoiler-free interpretation. It's doing really. It's looking like it's going to have a $200 million opening weekend, or at
Nice.
least in that ballpark, maybe falling short. You
Update
know,
real quick. The Progenitor is open and available for your OnlyFans name if anyone wants
okay.
it. So, yeah.
Well, I'll leave that to you.
Oh, okay. Cool. I'll take it.
It could overtake Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which opened to 187.4 million.
Okay.
Right now, though, I should say as of Friday midday, Wakanda Forever looked like it was going to have an $80 million Friday. This is good. This is a good opening. The fact that it's trending lower than Doctor Strange 2 is a surprise to me, but they had the Illuminati. So I guess.
They also had the buzz of like, oh, this one matters,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange is kind of the main character right now. So I guess.
Wild statement.
I know,
I agree,
but is he not?
I agree, but
Yeah.
it's a wild thing to hear.
Yeah.
I think this will have more of a tail though than
Right.
Doctor Strange
Agreed.
did.
Very much so.
Because Doctor Strange had a 36% drop off on Saturday over Friday. So I'm thinking that this movie will probably have legs. The word of mouth is obviously going to be great. Whereas for Doctor Strange, whether you like the movie or not, it was a mixed reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I think for Black Panther, it's been, pretty positive across the board so far. So
This is a good indicator as well, because it's interesting that that was also like the sort of the summer blockbuster, like that's the way it was kind of positioned to be to some degree. This is going to be a smaller, more intimate movie, and so that feels like that'll pay its dividends like next week. We're probably going to see higher amounts than whatever Multiverse of Madness was at, and it's going to keep growing. Good weekend overall.
yeah. It's worth pointing out that it's opening so far 80 million total is the 13th highest opening day of all time.
Dang, all right.
I almost left my screening early, honestly.
Why?
There's a guy, it was a small theater, a guy wearing a trench coat went and sat in the front row. Me and my friends like, yo, something's up.
No.
Wait a second. I had that too.
Did you?
I had a guy in my theater who sat in one of the front rows and he had like a I don't know if it was a trench coat, but like a big coat.
Yeah.
And he had bags. And he was talking throughout the whole movie.
Nah, he talked himself down during that movie.
he set his bag down on one of the like seats in the front, and he walked away. And I was like, "Holy shit, we're gonna die right now!
Dude,
this is my last day."
There should be a no trench coat rule for movie theaters for two reasons: shooters and small people who stack themselves and try to get one.
They should check you. If you go with a trench coat, they should check you to make sure there's only one person.
Yeah,
that person doesn't have any guns or bombs or knives.
Exactly. Biggest threat to cinema is trench coats. But also, it's 2022. If you think that's a fit, that's okay. Still, like, come on.
Duster, your cowboy or PI. Yeah.
I see a trench coat. I think trench coat mafia. What do you want me to tell you? Columbine.
No. Well.
Yeah, that's where my mind goes.
I came out unscathed though. I'm safe.
Good. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad I made it. We all survived. Well, one place you won't be able to catch Black Panther Wakanda Forever is China.
What?
Yes, China doing China things by banning Wakanda Forever and Black Adam.
And Black Adam?
Yeah.
Damn. Well, black people haven't been invented there yet, so.
It's not weird for Marvel anymore because their last 6 movies haven't made it in.
Damn.
Wow, has it that many?
Everything since Black Widow, from what I'm reading.
They
Wait, I thought
pissed
Multiverse of
off.
Madness was no.
No. They pissed off. China got pissed off after it was Eternals and I
Oh,
think
Star Wars, eh?
Shang-Chi also kind of pissed them off because
Well, yeah,
Simu
and
Liu and
Shang-Chi's for an obvious reason.
yeah, and Gemma Chan for Eternals. She's been outspoken against the Chinese government. So we're also banned in China now. So
But yeah, you can't catch us, and you're not allowed to type in the Comics Pals on their social media. What's it called? Weibo,
no, that's
W-E
what Marco is.
Weibo, Weibo. I think you can't
Weibo?
Weibo. You
Sure.
can't type us on there. But yeah, the original Black Panther was in China. It made $105 million. So they're not going to have that Chinese money to make that billion this time around. So they're gonna have to
Wait.
do it without China.
Only 105 million?
Yeah, in
Yeah, I
China.
wonder why.
That's not a lot. Well, because I mean, opening weekend here is 180. Like that feels small for such a large market.
Dude, everyone in the movie's black.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't want to see that.
Touche.
They put Everett Ross in the movie to help that.
He's in the poster,
Yo,
like
he was-
all up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was the token.
Yeah.
Everett
Movie has a
Ross
token
is
white guy in it.
the Black Panther. You see T'Challa in the background, small.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
They
man.
put Bucky in it just somewhere, even though he only
Yeah.
shows up in the flashback. Yeah.
The White Wolf, featuring the White Wolf. Oh my god, I love it. So one question post Wakanda Forever is, what will Ryan Coogler's next move be? He said, or he didn't say, but one of the producers said last week when asked about that very question, why hasn't Black Panther 3 been greenlit? I believe it was Nate Moore said that it wasn't greenlit because Ryan wanted to see how critics, or not critics, but how people would react, how fans would react, and then take it from there. But one prevailing rumor is that he's actually in conversation for Secret Wars.
Oh, I would be
Yeah.
cool with that. That sounds like a good idea.
After this movie, and I don't want to be spoilery, but Coogler can work with an ensemble cast, and I think
Yeah.
he's ready for a team movie. I think he'd be fine. He'd be pretty good at it, honestly.
Okay, look, I'm not gonna lie. I am still holding out hope for the Russos to direct
Why?
Secret Wars. I know
Don't
it's not
think
gonna
so.
happen.
Don't think so.
I know.
Is it something you want?
Desperately,
Yeah,
yes.
I don't.
You think it's time to pass the baton?
I think so. I want a new flavor. I want a new flavor Avengers movie. I had two different flavors already. I want a third flavor.
I want some
I
sazon.
want.
I feel
I was
that.
gonna make an ice cream reference, but now sazon and ice cream does not sound good.
No?
Give it a shot. Not usually, obviously.
I can't. When Ryan Coogler was asked about that, when that was brought to his attention, he said, "That's crazy," and that's all. That's all he
That's
said.
crazy.
That sounds like everything my Tinder matches say to me before they stop responding.
Kevin Feige was asked, and he said,
Also said that's crazy.
"Yeah."
Kevin Feige said that's
he-
brazy. I know what that guy's doing.
Oh my god! Wait a second.
He's always got the
Are
red
you-
cap on. I know.
Are you saying that Ryan Coogler's a Crip and Kevin Feige's a Blood?
Well, I wasn't. I was only saying the latter. I wasn't saying the former. But
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, he just basically said that they've not talked about it. So, I don't believe that
No.
one way or the other. Like, whether Ryan Coogler ends up directing the movie or not, I just don't believe that there's been no conversation.
Do you believe anything Feige says at this point?
No, generally
Yeah.
not.
I know.
I don't. He's a liar, but I love him.
He's a good liar.
Yeah, it's lies with a good cause. You know.
Good intention.
Yeah, to keep us on our toes.
Sure.
I appreciate that. Um, I think Ryan Coogler would do a great job. Yes, I do.
I agree.
The only thing that gives me cause to pause is the last action piece in Wakanda Forever. I just didn't think it was very good. But
Interesting.
and that makes me a little scared. But otherwise, yeah, sure, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, the music would be good in Secret Wars, at least.
Yo, that music was real good.
Yeah, Ludwig Göransson.
Yep.
Gorinson.
Yeah, very,
Did the
very talented.
Mandalorian
Ludwig.
score too.
Hmm?
He did the Mandalorian score as well.
Right.
Oh.
Yes. Yes, he did. And of course the Black Panther 1 score,
Yep.
which was very good. So, super talented.
Okay.
We're going to be seeing the official debut of Kang here real soon in Quantumania. Of course, that means that Kang must become a utilized character in the comics. And so we are getting another timeless
Synergy.
one shot. This has sort of become an annual thing, I guess, for Marvel. This is the second one, right, Tyler?
Yeah, it's the second timeless thing.
Yep. And Jed McKay, Greg Land, they're coming back for Timeless. But this time Salvador LaRocca and Patrick Zercher are joining them. I feel like Salvador LaRocca and Greg Land have like they're cut from the same cloth. They remind me of each other.
Photo
Yep.
references. Because
Yep.
they use the same pictures.
Yeah. They have a Google Drive they share.
On
Yeah.
on gregland.com, you can pay $200 a month for access to his library of
Yep. Comes with a
images.
light box as well. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's a antiquated piece of technology, I guess, for this, but yeah.
Oh man. So this timeless though seems to be pretty focused on Kang and filling in the blanks. Literally. Because the first teaser is asking us what's the missing moment. And somehow that relates to Kang, I guess.
Oh,
It
okay.
makes sense. Go ahead.
I thought he was gonna find the time of my life where I was on antidepressants and robo tripping that I don't remember.
What does it mean to robo trip?
Shh, don't be sipping that NyQuil, Sean. That's all I gotta say.
Oh well, listen, been there, done that.
Yeah. Kang, could use your help for that 1 year. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's that. They're teasing the tribulation events, which probably has something to do with the Living Tribunal, the Twilight Court, which we don't know what that is. So they're teasing all kinds of things with this. I am a huge fan of Kang. This is not what it is that I want, but I hope that it leads to what I want, which is a legitimate Kang focused event where he is the threat and the Avengers have to stop him. That's what I want. And I hope that this is gearing up to get to that.
Did you see in one of the preview images, which I put on the stream, Kang is going through like some kind of like time warp or whatever, and the people that are highlighted behind him?
Right. Yes, yes.
It's two things you've been asking for specifically, Sean.
Well, you got Luke Cage,
Yeah.
the mayor, Surge,
Yep.
of course,
It's
which
got
I love.
Surge too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
those are the two things I've been asking for.
The Timeless last year was kind of a preview into what would be important or like new books coming out that year as well. So are we finally getting this fucking Luke Cage book that we should have gotten last year?
Nah.
I can only hope. I know the Bishop book with Surge has already been announced, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the Bishop Academy or War Academy,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah, that is a book we know is coming. They did. I mean, the Luke Cage book, if I remember correctly, the work was completed.
Yep.
It just never saw the light of day. So it's possible that this is a tease of things to come. Yeah, this is cool. I'll be buying and reading this one, for sure. Oh, and then there's an Immortus tease, which I forgot to mention.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. There's Kang asking himself, "Am I becoming Immortus? Have I reached my limits? Is this the point where I cease to be Kang and begin to be Immortus?"
Oh, interesting. I
Immortus,
guess
of
we've never seen
course,
that. Yeah.
is the oldest version of Kang, like wise Kang, if you will. Um, Not exactly literally the same character that we saw at the end of Loki, but embodying those characteristics. That he who shall not be named or whatever, that is essentially Immortus.
Yeah. And also,
So
Immortus is not a He's not really a villain. He's more like he's helped out the Avengers before. Like he's kind of like this gray area kind of
yeah,
character too. He's not the conquering villain that Kang is. So interesting.
Kang the Conqueror is like the like middle age, not like young, I guess middle age, like middle
He's
aged
like the
Kang.
Charmeleon of the Kangs.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, but Immortus is not Charizard.
More
That's
just like
fair.
even beyond that.
Well, Immortus is just tired. You know, like
He's the,
Immortus is like, look, I don't want to conquer anymore. I'm good on all that. Let's work towards the future.
Kang the Conqueror is Ash's Charizard when he first goes to the Charizard lands and he's smaller than everybody but has a lot of spunk. And then he meets the older Charizards and
Spunk.
that's Immortus.
Word. There you go.
Okay.
I don't want to talk
Got
about
it.
Pokemon Spunk
Got it.
anymore.
You said you don't want to talk about Pokemon?
Pokemon Spunk.
Whoa. Catherine, sharing our thoughts on Timeless, because if that's what you meant, then yeah, absolutely. We'll almost assuredly read it for the show.
It usually comes out on like a week that nothing else comes out on. These books usually come out on like the Christmas week, you know, between
Yeah.
New Year's and yeah, so nothing ever comes out that week.
Well, you're literally right, because this is December 28th. This is out
Okay,
December
yeah.
28th.
Oh
Yeah,
damn.
last year this is what happened. Yeah.
So yeah,
The
nailed it.
last week of the month or the
Yep.
last week of the year.
Nothing comes out. Yeah, so they like to throw in like something that everyone has to buy, you know.
Tease for the future. Hey, yeah, we know life sucks now that Christmas is over, but new comics.
Come and get him.
Yep. Speaking of new comics, we're getting a Spider-Gwen clone saga. So what's new or what's old is new again in Marvel. So we are getting the Spider-Gwen clone saga arc called Spider-Gwen wait, sorry, I lost names. Shadow Clones. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, Shadow Clone Jutsu.
Ghost Spider
There.
Shadow Clones.
Marco, do
It's
the
gonna
hand
be
movement.
Huh?
Do the hand movement, Marco. I know you know it.
It's just
The shadow clone jutsu. Thing.
Is it not
All right,
just-
You're not even
is
doing
it
it.
not
on
just
camera.
like-
it's bad.
Ra-
This is
raise
bad
your
for
hands. Raise your
isn't it
hands.
just like
That's
how
something
they-
else. That's something else.
How
I
they
don't
do
know
it?
what
I don't
we're
know.
using those.
I actually don't know how they do it.
Marco's thinking like the two and the. No, never mind.
Oh my god. So the concept here is that Ghost Spider will be going up against cloned versions of her that are spliced with Spider-Man villains. So it's like
I'm a fool.
it's like Gwen Stacy, but a Doc Ock Gwen Stacy, a Sandman Gwen Stacy, Vulture Gwen Stacy,
Oh,
and the best part, because I don't care about all that. To me, that's not. I'm
Sure.
about 100% done with all clones as it relates to Spider-Man. You talk about beating a drum, but Peach Momoko designed all of the new characters, all the new crossover characters that they're introducing here. The Gwen X Spidey villain characters.
2021 Stormbreaker, Peach Momoko.
Yes.
Wow.
And you can see them on the cover art for the book. We can see the Sandman, or I guess she wouldn't be Sandman at that point, Sandwoman. Doc Ock is there as well. They look cool. I mean, like they're not like, and this is a static image, or I mean, it would always be a static image, but like this is just one singular image. But they don't look, like, oh my god, I can't believe how amazingly inventive that is.
Right.
But I guess Sandman is not a, you don't have a lot of wiggle room with that.
I always like the David Nakayama covers though, and this is one of them too. And David Nakayama also does some of the panel art for Marvel Legends, which is always nice. It's one of my favorite cover artists out there. But this doesn't do much for me, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't. Spider Gwen has not really been used. Like she's had like a mini, but that was a couple years ago. Like she's kind of been out of the comic book eye. I feel like they're only doing this because Into the Spider-Verse 2 is coming out next year. So they're like, all right, we need some kind of Spider-Verse book in the stands.
They already have one.
Spider-Gwen.
That end of the Spider-Verse. Oh, but this is 2023, so
Yeah.
Fair enough.
They also have Spider-Man, which is another Spider-Verse book by Dan Slott.
Yeah.
Which just introduced the Avengers Campus character into the comics, which is weird.
Right. Yeah. Because they're not
met-
legally allowed to use the one from the MCU.
Yeah, I literally met a comic book character the other day. That was weird.
That's sick. I would like to meet a comic book character. If you could meet any comic book character, who would you meet?
Marco.
Huh?
You would meet Marco.
Yeah, I've been in the
Again.
comics, so
Yeah.
Hey, so have I.
there you go.
Tyler, you got to get on that, dude. It's awesome to be in a comic book.
Yeah, man. People ask you questions and shit.
I am in a comic book. Thank you.
Which one?
Mark Bouchard's new book. It took Luke. On
Are you
stands
really?
now. Yeah, they put me and Matt as the names of the scientists at the beginning of the book.
Oh, that's so
Which
cool.
my
did we
issue,
not-
my hardcover just came in. So I'm gonna pick it up tomorrow, actually. So
I think we might have known that, actually.
maybe
Might have mentioned it.
might have been on the recesses
Yeah,
of your
I think
brain.
they told us, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, dude. This is not my. This is I can't do the clones. I can't do the Spider Verse. I'm not all the way sure that have I ever read a comic that Spider Gwen was in. I'm not all the way sure.
Really,
Definitely have not. I definitely have not. So
that first Spider Gwen stuff, like Edge of the Spider Verse, where she was first introduced, or like the Spider Gwen book. I think it was Jason Latour wrote it with Robbie Rodriguez on art, I believe. It's fun. It's good looking. It's stylish. It's weird. But like since then, it's just like, oh well, we want her in the main universe, Like the whole thing that I liked about it was in her own universe, so it kind of was able to play with things a little more. And then as soon as she became popular, they're like, all right, well, we need to bring her we need to make her Ghost Spider
way.
now. And I'm like, oh god.
There's something for everybody, I guess. I just can't do it. I hate to derail the fun, but this has been a
I just
rough.
saw the next slide.
Yeah.
Like, oops, that's
This
a segue.
has been a rough week for comics. Unfortunately, we've endured some losses this week. Like they say, death comes in threes, and we lost three. Titans of comics. I guess Kevin Conroy's not, comics, but Batman's a comic character, so I think that lines up. Yeah, Kevin O'Neill, the co-creator of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, of course, with Alan Moore on that, unfortunately passed away last week. O'Neill's not a name that I was terribly familiar with because he was very much a British comic book creator and did a lot of that stuff. But also a lot of American stuff too. Some little bit of Green Lantern stuff, things here and there. But it's just so sad to me how many comic book creators who are major deals in this industry we have lost in the last year. the I saw someone post like just on Twitter a list of all the creators that died, and it's just heartbreaking. Like it feels like we're adding names to that every few weeks.
Dude, every issue of Marvel Comics that I read has a new memorial page in it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
like every couple weeks,
exactly.
which is fucking dark. But Phil Noto is getting work at least. Um,
Wow.
Damn.
but it's it's a shame because I haven't read League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I haven't
Like
either.
it's
Me
always
neither.
been on like my to read pile. I feel like if out of the four of us, the one who probably read it isn't even here. Um,
Right.
it seems like more of a Kale book than anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it sucks, and it sucks especially with art where like people only get recognized after they die. You know,
Hmm. Yeah. Exactly. Like now, I'm most likely going to go ahead and read League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It was always on my radar because I don't know if this is like weird to say, but I really like the movie.
Yeah.
that's
I
fair.
don't.
I think that's a decent movie.
Oh, I thought it was hated. I don't know. I got that feeling, but I really liked it. And I always wanted to read the comic, but I guess I was a little bit intimidated by Alan Moore.
The
Um,
original creator himself.
yeah.
Well, Sean, who would you be more intimidated for in face to face? Would it still be Azarello or would Alan Moore take the cake there?
Oh, 100% Alan Moore because Alan
Oh, okay.
Moore hates everything that I stand for. Everything that I enjoy in life, Alan Moore hates.
He hates the
Fair.
idea of Sean and his superhero comics.
Yeah, I am actually the target of Alan Moore's vitriol, 100%. And I accept that and I know that. But I still love Alan Moore, like being a crotchety old man is not going to stop me from being a fan, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Bret Hart. Bret Hart is
Hey,
bitter.
Brett screwed Brett.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not trying to like go off on a whole other tangent. Kevin O'Neill's not the only creator we lost this week. Again, Carlos Pacheco, legendary artist.
Yeah.
One of like this blew me away because we knew that Carlos was struggling. We actually saw Carlos Pacheco's final cover art. It was I believe it was an issue of Damage Control.
Yep.
Yeah. And we saw that, and he had announced that he was going to be retiring.
Hmm.
He was struggling with ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, and he succumbed to that this week. Um,
Quickly. Yeah.
Damn.
Pacheco is a titan of this industry, and it's just like it just sucks. It really really sucks. Avengers, X-Men, like so many different things that Carlos Pacheco worked on. One of the artists, like for the fact that Carlos Pacheco was 60 years old, the work that he was still putting out was really good. I thought.
Wasn't he working on a recent miniseries? I feel.
I want to say so. I can't put my finger on what it was, but yes.
Oh, he worked on Occupy Avengers back in 2017. Okay. That was like a Hawkeye-led Avengers book.
Hmm. But even just that cover, like that
Yeah.
Damage Control cover, really good. Like
Wild.
to
I
be
mean,
doing, yeah,
I was gonna say Avengers Forever would be nothing if it weren't for Pacheco. Like that's part of the reason why that's a much lauded book. Sure,
right.
Busiek and Stern, probably some of the top five Avengers writers of all time. Um, but Pacheco is what that's the tasty part of it.
Yep, absolutely. Um, and it's just so wild to me to see someone who's 60 years old still producing high quality work and then is gone the same year.
It's also the loss of the potential because he's only 60. He still had a career ahead of him. He still had life ahead of him. and we're not going to be able to get to see any of that. Whatever he had on the horizon, whatever his plans were, his like ultimate goals there, we're not going to be able to see that, and that's a shame because as creators, and it depends on creator, but as they get older, you get better in a lot of ways, and the on that art aspect, the best was yet to come. So it's sad to lose people who had talent, and we won't be able to see that anymore.
Yeah, I completely. I'm on board with that. That's always what bums me out because you're right. 60 is like.
It's young, bro. Like nowadays, come on, you got another 20 years minimum.
Yeah, like my aunt is over 60.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like my aunt died. That would be the worst thing that could happen in my life. And I'm not even thinking about that because she's only 60.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't seem like a possibility right now. Like it's not gonna happen.
Right.
You just assume life expectancy is higher up in 2022.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sucks that and it's probably these same people that like probably didn't have health insurance even though they were working at the big two.
Sure.
Probably struggled with medical bills because of it. Which is the fucking worst part of the fact that all these people who create the things that we love and enjoy are freelance, and they don't and they don't have health insurance for a lot of this. I can think of like the guy who created Rocket Raccoon.
That was devastating.
Oh,
Yeah,
that really sucked.
But it's rough.
Yeah, I mean, I shudder to think, and like, I don't even want to like turn this into that necessarily, but I do shudder to think like, what's the quality of life? What would it be for these creators? What would the quality of life be if they were provided health insurance?
Yeah.
Through the company they allegedly work for.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I mean, Sean and I both love wrestling too, and it's the same thing there.
Yep.
That's crazy because they're like actually risking mind, body, and soul.
No, they're
for
just
that.
they're just what's the term they use, Sean?
They're independent contractors.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's buck
They're
wild.
exclusive independent contractors.
It's illegal. It's immoral, but forget that.
Sure.
It's illegal.
There's no morality in capitalism. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the government, like we have an inept government, quite frankly, and we have for many years. They don't care about stuff like this anymore, and they really should, because there's a lot of problems that we could be avoiding if businesses weren't allowed to just do whatever they want. Anyway, Kevin Conroy also passed this week, and this one was really, really, really tough because Kevin Conroy is obviously the voice of Batman. He died at 66 years old after a relatively brief battle with cancer. There's been just a showering, an outpouring of support and, messages of love and care and sadness on the part of many, many individuals. And a lot of, sadness, yes, but also celebration of a life well lived, quite frankly. A man who was, by all accounts, a good man, who stood for something. And for a lot of people, for me, probably for at least Tyler, probably Marco as well, embodied who Batman is in a lot of ways. The Batman for many of us who grew up in the 90s. So in our main topic, we're going to talk about Kevin Conroy, share some of the messages that, people who knew him have put out there on social media, share our thoughts. And I think we can talk about some of our favorite Kevin Conroy moments and things that we, Kevin Conroy facts that we know that thinking about make this a little easier to process. So we'll do that in our main topic. If you're watching live, we'll be back in 5 minutes or less, and we'll see you on the other side of the break. And we are back. Thank you for waiting. We appreciate you. I just want to get right into talking about Kevin Conroy. Um, Batman the animated series had a profound my life for sure. I remember being a kid and being obsessed with Batman. I have pictures of me. I used to love to like put all my toys together and just line them up to see like how many variations of Batman I had. I had I don't think it was every, but like most of the different variations of the Batman the animated series Batman that they put out. Um I loved Batman as a kid.
Mm.
And live action Batman was awesome. I loved that. I loved Michael Keaton. I thought that was cool. But Batman the animated series was it. And obviously I didn't know the name Kevin Conroy, when I was a kid. I didn't know all that. But then as I got older, I could put the face to the voice, you know, and I got to know more about who the man was behind the cowl. And everything that I know about Kevin Conroy is that he's a genuinely amazing person. That doesn't affect my life, right? What affects my life, what impacted my life was the care and the concern that Kevin Conroy has had with making sure that his Batman he represents Batman the way that Batman should be represented, that he cares for the character, that he's putting out something into the world that kids and adults alike can enjoy and engage with in a way that allows them to be fulfilled. That show, um, for me, I thought it some tough stuff at times. One of my favorite episodes is the one where Bruce Wayne he loses his memory and he gets thrown in this like slave um encampment, for lack of a better term. And his only friend in that is this one black dude who's enslaved there, and they have to work together to get out. I loved that episode. I didn't understand the context as a kid fully. I didn't grasp what they were putting down, but I thought that was a brilliant episode. There's the one episode um where Bruce I think he's like, I can't remember the exact context, but he sees his parents' grave and he's crying. Um
It's every
yeah,
Batman.
fair enough. Um there's heaviness to that show, but there's also light. And I love that about the show. And I love Kevin Conroy's Batman, that voice. There's strength in that voice, but there's also like love in that voice. And there's also at times playfulness in that voice. He brought so much to the character that, especially if you grew up in the 90s, you didn't see, because the Tim Burton movies are not fun in that way. They don't make space for that.
Sure.
Yeah, the Schumacher ones
This
too. Yeah.
right. Well, yeah, and that's the whole other side of the spectrum. Um, Kevin Conroy's Batman is a perfect synthesis of what Batman can be. And I love that about
The I think the voice aspect in particular strikes me the most consistently. Whenever I would, so my with my mom, she likes to sit down and watch TV with me and my brother, and so for years we would do the OG uh, Star Trek series, for example. We did DS9 together. We did some Game of Thrones. Like she hangs out with us for some of the fandom stuff a lot of the time, and Batman was one of them, in particular Batman Beyond. And so for her, that's whatever she hears that voice. Whenever my brother would be playing a Batman game, or whenever we'd be watching some other related media, and he pops up, she would be able to recognize, oh, hey, that's this guy, right? And it might even not even be that character. You could be doing a voice for something else, but it's like, oh, that's that guy, right? And so for me, it was I sent it to my mom, like, hey, like the Batman, right? Like, and So that's sad because like these are the memories associated to this person. Is it's not just that he portrayed the character, it's not just that he did a good job executing that, but also people form memories around him and around his portrayal, and so he has to do a lot of work to maintain that image the best way that he can of Batman, and I think he did a really good job of doing that. And for that reason, we'll look back fondly on him, his performances, the associations that he made with, a parent and her kids. It's a really powerful thing to be the voice for such a character, and then to be the voice for such a character is like a crowning achievement. So I mean, hats off to him and his career, and it's a shame that we lost such a recognizable and talented artist.
And like one of the things that like gets me, I'm looking at his IMDb right now. Like people say like, oh, he's the Batman. And like I agree. I think you're right, Sean, that he embodied the multifaceted nature of Bruce Wayne. That we get in the comics, but we don't really we're not getting that out of Ben Affleck. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily Ben Affleck's fault, but that's just the way the movie is.
Yeah.
Where the animated series allowed him to kind of be all those versions. But if you look at his IMDb, like there will never be another person that played the same character as much as he did, let alone Batman. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
insane how many different, video games, shorts, TV shows, movies.
Everything.
He played Bruce Wayne in live action for the Crisis on Infinite Earths
Yeah.
CW crossover, where he was like Kingdom Come Bruce Wayne with like the body armor and stuff. Like there's nobody who's going to be able to ever do this. And he was great. I mean, I think one of the other like aspects of him too, he was openly gay, which is a big deal to have, like a Batman of a generation be that. He wrote, I think it was the DC Pride book that came out earlier this year in April, I believe, where he wrote a story about him dealing with, being Batman and gay and how to kind of, I guess, consolidate that and his feelings on that. I don't know if he was open is a strange word, and that's not really my call to say, but I think in 2016 there was like a headline for it. So like that's
I think
when it kind of became more well known, I don't want to say he wasn't open before, but at least in terms of Kevin Conroy the actor. That's where I think the headlines sort of hit. But that's a big deal, and it's a especially a man of his age too, to do that is commendable.
Yeah.
And he also just seemed like a chill dude too. I know like Tara Strong, who does the voice of Harley. Like she posted a picture of her and him, and he's just like sitting on her lap. He just seems like just a nice guy. And like I've seen him at cons and stuff. He's one of those guys where like I know everyone says it when people pass, but like I think this is like a legitimate like, oh, I have no bad things to say about this guy sort of person.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
It's funny because you said that he's voiced Batman in so many different things, and I don't even know if people realize it. Like almost every time you have seen Batman in an animated form, Kevin Conroy was the voice. If you played a game with Batman in it and Batman spoke, it's very likely it was Kevin Conroy.
Yep.
That's what, like, even in Injustice.
And that's in Multiverses, I believe.
Yes, absolutely. That's a very, very different Batman. Think about that. That's a very different Batman than the one in the animated series. But it doesn't matter which version of Batman we're seeing because Kevin Conroy is Batman. And he was able to bring just enough variety to the way he played it so that it felt appropriate no matter what game or series you were engaged with. It felt right, and Kevin Conroy was the anchor. Imagine being the anchor for a character across media. That doesn't exist anywhere else. Like Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, but like a comic book, or not if you watch something animated.
No, it'd be somebody aping him instead.
Right.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of where we have that is like Pikachu, you know? The voice actress is the same across the board. Yeah, and that's
Sure.
the only other instance I can think of, like the sheer volume of the number of people who do that is so small, and so it's impressive.
I'd
And,
also argue like the craft of voice acting is underappreciated,
sure.
because he has to do this all with his voice. You
Yeah.
know, he doesn't get to use his face or his emotion to portray who the character is. It's all super subtle in ways that like the brain understands, but I don't think you fully realize.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Personally, I think voice acting in and of itself is an underappreciated thing, but I think especially what he was able to do with Batman. I mean, he did the Batman that's in he played Zur-En-Arrh Batman in Brave and the Bold. Like that's a different Batman
Yo.
than Batman Beyond Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and it looks like he was also playing currently Thomas Wayne in Batman the Caped Crusader, which is like that new Paul Dini Batman thing that I
Oh,
think Apple picked up. Somebody picked it up. I know it's coming out somewhere.
Yeah, because it was dropped, right, by HBO Max.
Yes, fucking idiots.
Unreal. Um, I wanted to read, you mentioned Tara Strong. I wanted to read her comments. She said, I don't have the words, not today. My heart is broken. There will never be another. He is Batman, hashtag rip legend. Um, and it has the picture that you mentioned, Tyler. And it's heartwarming that someone passes and people have such beautiful words for them. And it's so sad to me, and it's not supposed to work out this way, of course, but it's sad to me that he'll never know. Like he knows people loved him. He'll never know. He'll never be able to see this. He won't see all the support. I mean, when the whole internet practically has stopped all the bullshit to celebrate your life, that's remarkable. It really is. Not many people will get that in life.
or in this Twitter climate,
Yeah.
That's
for
true.
sure.
Like all the goofiness shut down because Kevin Conroy, a person who, look, 30 years. When he started playing Batman, I was 2 years old.
Damn.
92.
Holy shit.
Yeah. 30 years.
It's my whole
And
life.
then,
That's the year of my birth. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Right. So that's a long time span to be playing the same character, to have such an impact on people. It's remarkable, and that, like, it's sad. It is sad. I'm not trying to take away from that, but I like that everybody has taken time to do this, to celebrate him. It's really incredible. Michael Rosenbaum, who played what's his name?
Lex, right?
Lex Luthor, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the Smallville show. Devastating. Kevin was a remarkable man inside and out. I will truly miss those big hugs and that magical voice. You will always be my Batman. Rest in peace, my friend.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He's such, for 30 years, that's generations of people who know him, you know?
Mhm.
So the amount of adoration extends beyond just our age range. There are kids who have grown up to him so far, listening to his voice. There are our generation, people who would tune in because they're kids at heart, and they recognize him. The impact here has been incredible, and the loss is felt across the board.
Do you guys want to share like your favorite Kevin Conroy performances? It doesn't have to be from the animated series, but just in general.
I just watched an episode before the show today. Um, I watched the Beware the Grey Ghost episode of Batman the Animated Series, which is one of my favorite ones. It actually it has Adam West playing this gray ghost swashbuckling old TV character, who's been forgotten because his show was never released on home video. Sounds familiar. And the dynamic between Kevin Conroy and Adam West there is honestly very special because it's super. It's on the nose in a good way because it's like, all right, we're not just talking about Batman and Bruce Wayne and this character. We're talking about the actors, really. And I think there's a real wholesomeness to it, and the way Conroy kind of talks about this, or talks about the role during it is like a fun Batman. He plays like a happy Batman in it. Which I think like right before it was like a really dark episode too. So like the variation of who he plays is interesting. That's one of my favorites. And I think the other one that always jumps out to me is the one where all the villains are talking at a table about how they almost caught the bat. That's more of a villain centric one, but if I'm talking about like a Batman centric one, this is the one that jumps out to me.
For me, it's not a specific moment, but the first time that I played Batman, like Arkham City, and the fact that you're controlling this character with him, and it's just that helped to integrate you into the experience really, really well, because this person is so recognizable, and I'm the person guiding and driving this character. That's cool. So the Arkham series, to be able to play as the voice was cool.
Yeah. I was gonna mention Arkham as well because I don't think I realized that he would be voicing Batman in that game. And it also has Mark Hamill, which was pretty cool. Like
Yep.
their reunion there was awesome. But I felt like I couldn't believe I was playing a game that was a modern game that took place or that was released, like 15 years after the animated series, something like that.
More, I think. Yeah.
Sorry?
I think more, honestly.
Yeah, maybe more. That was a conservative number. And it's got Kevin Conroy again as Batman, but now I'm controlling him.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is so crazy. And that was one of my favorites. You got to sit with the character a lot more. Like Batman the Animated Series, obviously a lot of Batman-centric stories, but in this game, you're Batman. And you get to, live as Batman, play as Batman for hours and hours of story. I thought that was incredible. And then again, in Injustice, this huge turn, this different version, but it's still the same guy. I loved all that. I thought that was fantastic. Just incredible. Just really, really incredible. I think Tyler hit the nail on the head. There's never going to be another Kevin Conroy. One of one.
Even the guy that voiced Mickey Mouse originally wasn't as as well as what's the word I'm looking for here? Iconic as, yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because we think, oh well, yeah, okay, he's Batman, big deal. But it is a big deal. It is. How many millions of people have engaged with all that stuff? Maybe you never saw the animated series, but did you play Arkham? Did you play Injustice?
Right.
Did you see the what's it called? The Legends of Tomorrow? Like, I think that's what. Oh, the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
It was Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in Batwoman and he was in all of them. Yeah.
That's wild.
You've come into contact with him in some form or fashion just because of how prevalent he was and how important he was to that series.
Yeah. It makes me want to go back. I'll tell you that. It makes me want to do another run of that show.
You did one recently, right?
Yeah, in 2020.
Right. Yeah.
After watching this, Where the Gray Ghost, I was like, man, this shit is tasty. It's just good. It's good stuff. It's quick too. They're 20-minute episodes. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's wild that it only ran from 92 to 95. Like if you think about it, that's a short amount of time. And
I don't think that. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, it's just so influential for that time. Yeah, you have like the adventure continues and stuff, and you have Batman Beyond. Like you have spin-offs of it. But like when I think of it, I think of this series.
Yeah, it's funny because in my mind it did last so
Yeah,
long.
same.
And when
Probably
I
due to
watched it,
reruns in a kid's brain, but yeah,
yeah, when I
fish
went and watched
fishbowl.
it back, I was like, gosh, I thought there was more of this.
Yeah.
How many seasons? 3 seasons?
I can tell you.
I
Let's
don't
see.
remember how many seasons it broke out into, but it felt short
Oh,
relative
only
to
only
my
two.
memory.
Sure.
But the memory of a child is not reliable, unfortunately.
There are 3 seasons, Marco.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dan Trudeau says, in remembrance, I'll be watching the Beware the Gray Ghost episode. So he
A
actually laid out similar to what you laid out, Tyler.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch one tonight. A good way to honor Kevin Conroy. I don't know that he would, or like that. This is it, you know. And honestly, just be good to people. I think if you wanna celebrate Kevin Conroy, watch a little Batman, be good to people. I think that's what Kevin Conroy stood for.
Yeah.
Just being kind. So
Agreed.
thank you, Kevin Conroy, for making my childhood that much better. I don't know that I'm the Batman fan I am if it's not for Kevin. I don't know.
I don't know that I'll recognize Batman now in any other media now, you know?
Right. Like it's gonna be someone else or some other people. No one person can just take over the role, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I wonder who's playing him in the Cape Crusader. Actually,
It's weird that he's not
I
doing
agree.
it.
Yeah, that kind of threw me off. If he's
Yeah.
playing Thomas Wayne, who's playing Batman? Not listed. Interesting.
Hmm.
I wonder if it would be Diedrich Bader again.
Let us know your favorite Kevin Conroy memories and moments. Please do share those with us. You can write to us at the comicspals the comicspals at gmail.com. You can get
Or-
us on social. Go ahead.
Or
Contact
contact
at
at
the
thecomicspals.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
Contact at thecomicspals.com.
It's the new one.
You can get us on social at the Comics Pals, of course. If you want to watch this show live, that's on YouTube and Twitch at the Comics Pals every Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays for Pals Pulls. That's our comic book review show. Join us on Patreon at patreon.com/thecomicspals. $3 a month. You can support your pals and you can get some pretty out of it, including our exclusive show. You can vote for the book club. You can get an exclusive nickname, all that kind of stuff. Join our Discord server. Listen to our review of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, which is out now if you're listening to this after Saturday.
Yes, on Monday.
I did want to say something real quick. This is so random, and I'm kicking myself now. I actually remember when we had our, I think it was our 5th anniversary. I want to say it was our 5th anniversary.
Okay.
This was 2020.
No.
I was obsessed with Cameo at the time.
Okay.
I have 2 cameos that my girlfriend got me. I have a cameo from Chavo Guerrero.
Was he playing what's his face instead?
Kerwin White.
Kerwin White. Yeah.
Actually, I really enjoyed that. I thought that was super cool. But I have one from Chavo and I have one from Chris Hansen.
Why did that get you, Tyler?
Because
You
it's
know who
so
Chris
fucking
Hansen is,
random.
Marco?
I would be willing to show you that if we ever whenever we were together. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to get one from Kevin Conroy for us for the show.
Oh, I remember this.
Too late.
Yeah, and I didn't do it. I didn't get around to it.
Yeah.
You can still get us a Chris Hansen one. I think he's still available.
It's still an option.
He is, and he needs the money. So I might for your birthday, Tyler. I'm a huge Chris Hansen fan, by the way. Love TCAP. I got obsessed in 2020.
TCAP? Did you say TCAP?
I sure did, brother. I sure did. Yeah, you got plugs. Thank you for listening. Let's get into the Marco. Why don't you take the lead on the plugs? Your plugs.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Comics Pals. You can find me at Mr. Marco Enomoto on Instagram and Twitter. What have I been doing? Just One Piece, man. That's all. That's all that life is at the moment. Is just fucking
Is it
One
true
Piece.
the One Piece is real?
I don't know. You know, the legends say it. That's what Roger D. Goldie Rogers said. I'm gonna believe whatever he has at this point. You know, that one Luffy kid's out there, so I believe it.
Sure. Okay.
Otherwise, come talk to me about more poetry. That was my new newsletter for this past week. I've been reading a lot of it. I'm getting back into some of my favorite writers. I just got in my bookshelf some stuff from Maya Angelou. So
Can you do a poem in the Maya Angelou style right now?
I haven't read her stuff.
Oh, you got to listen to her.
Yeah.
Do her like speaker poetry. She had a very specific delivery that is iconic.
Interesting. Okay, I'll check it out for sure.
God, I can't believe I just gave you a poetry recommendation.
Thank
Who am
you, dude.
I? Yeah, I posted some poetry on my Instagram yesterday. Actually,
I'll have to take a look at it.
Was it a sub?
no, I got a text message from my Grubhub driver, and it just said in 3 different lines. It said, "Chipotle here now," and I was like, "Man, that's fucking poetry," you know. It's good.
Wow. Did you do your plug there, Tyler?
No, I didn't do it yet. No. I just talked
Go
about
ahead.
Marcos. Yeah, you can follow me at the Tyler Olson on Instagram and Twitter. What can you talk to me about? Shit, I'm getting excited for this Pokemon game coming out next week.
That's right.
Pretty hyped
Gotta
for
get it.
that. What else can we talk about? How Twitter is much more fun now.
It is. It's so much more fun,
It's
dude.
pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
I hate
how
it.
I like how it's tanking. What was it? Arms manufacturers and the people who created insulin tanking their stock. It's pretty funny. I like the kind of chaos it's giving.
You've seen corporations fail.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to MySpace. That's
I'm
where
with
I
it,
was.
dude.
That's
Let's
where I hit
migrate.
my peak. Honestly, I hit my peak during the MySpace years. You know, I need to re-peak.
The whole like Justin Timberlake relaunch of MySpace was such a
rough.
weird, like that was so
That was
weird.
rough.
It was a good idea as like a music focused thing, but I think the execution didn't allow for people to want to come back to it.
I think you should have teamed up with like Spotify or
Yeah,
big
some sort of
streaming
music
service,
service to directly integrate it.
Tidal. I was more of a Google Plus kind of guy, honestly.
Yeah, I subscribe to Pandora.
Tyler, Catherine asked which version of Pokemon are you getting?
Scarlet. Yeah. Scarlet. Which one has the... No, Scarlet. It's Scarlet. I don't want to say why I'm picking Scarlet because it's kind of a spoiler. But there is a mechanic in the game where Scarlet's more appealing to me.
Okay.
All right.
I'll probably play it on
As
stream
from
too, actually. Yeah.
sorry,
I'll probably play it on stream too.
yeah, you should.
Wait, it's multiplayer, right? Like
Yeah.
I can
all play.
go to your village or whatever the fuck.
Not a thing, but sure.
I was thinking Animal Crossing, but okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it. I'm planning on getting it. So whatever you get, I'm gonna get the opposite of, to spite you, not because I want to get the full Pokédex, just to spite you.
Gotcha. Okay. Sure.
Yeah. As for me, you can catch me on Twitter and Instagram only at Sean Soapbox. I am in God of War mode. It's finally out. Ragnarok is here, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. It's a phenomenal game so far. I'll probably, expound in the newsletter whenever I'm up next. But yeah, it's really, really great. So if you're playing that, reach out. Don't spoil it for me though, please. With that, we're the Comics Pals signing off. Take care, guys.
Marco, you want to say?
See you next week.
There you go.
That was a very sincere please, Sean.